Let me first begin by thanking all of you for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. We know that although the athletes are the heart and soul of Special Olympics, it's the coaches that are the backbone and the muscle. Nothing could be done without you. We know this very trying times. Everybody's life's kind of turned upside down. And you guys have done a great job at connecting with our athletes over the last several weeks now. Many coaches have joined their athletes and are meeting with them on a regular basis via this Ring Central. This technology is available to any of you to do the same, to meet with your athletes and hold practices in some case. I mean, in any way that you can possibly do via this. Know that this is available to you and that your regional staff have numbers that you can use. And thank you for joining us. We did a quick polling of each of the regional staff, sent out a polling of that we had these 12 activities that we'd like to offer you to work with your athletes on during this downtime. Well, in that polling, that quick polling, we had 71 different training clubs say they were interested in doing this and using this this program to interact with their athletes. That included 184 coaches and 730 athletes. And we did that in less than a week. So please, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing with your athletes. And thank you, if you could spread this word amongst other coaches who may not have heard about it, we may not have been able to reach. The first thing I want to do is we have a whole bit of a program that we created for you. We're thinking about you and how you could interact with our athletes and help them to keep a little fit and to work on some best scores for themselves. And we struggled with it, right? We struggled because of Special Olympics and who we are. Our first thoughts were about maybe taking a skills competition out of each sport and trying to do that. And we struggled with, oh my goodness, we don't think the athletes will have the equipment at home. We know that you really can't interact with the athletes on a one-on-one basis, you know, hand over hand with them. We couldn't measure things, right? We were trying to figure out how can we create something that is credible and useful for our athletes to do within the limitations of this world of isolation we're living in. So the first thing I want to do is go over the events that we created or that we're suggesting that you use to interact with your athletes and have them work on it. And then we'll talk about how you're going to do that or what our suggestions are for the program. But I like, I've had a couple of these meetings now, and going over the events first would give you an idea and let you think about how you might interact with your athletes, the events they might like or dislike, questions or concerns about them. So it's the way we're going to start. And so I will find a way here to share my screen with you. And just got this new document, would be the whole, let's see, the fitness, where is it? Registration.
That's it.
There we go. All right, so got to move some things around a little bit. There we go. So, so I'm going to skip by this. I'm going to come back to this. This is an explanation of the program, but I want to go to the events first. So we created 12 events that we thought that our athletes could do. And again, as I go through these, please unmute yourself, ask a question. There's no such thing as a bad question. We created some things we thought our athletes could work at home with your support and direction. So we started with the simple push-up. And we figured we could help our athletes to compete. I won't read through each of the bullets here, but you can read them. And we're hoping that they can count a number of push-ups that they can do in 60 seconds. We also knew that some of our athletes might not be able to do a standard push-up, and that, oh, sorry, I'm highlighted there. There we go. So then we came up with the modified push-up that many of you will be aware of. So that's a push-up from your knees, basically. And then again, it would be how many can they do in 60 seconds. And then we also knew there might be some athletes in wheelchairs. So another option for athletes might be how many wheelchair push-ups can they do? Again, all in 60 seconds. So athletes would be free to choose any one of these three to participate in. Then the standing broad jump. Again, we took a simple thing we thought could be done. The athletes could maybe make a mark on a floor or in their backyard or in their driveway or on their sidewalk, and two hands in front, jump both feet up, and then they could measure the distance that they jump. Might require the help of a family member, might need help of maybe a tape measure, or even a yardstick might work, that they could measure the distance of how far they could jump. Third activity would be the 25-step race. Now you'll notice here that we're not saying 25 meters or yards the way we would for one of our events. We know that your step might be different in size and distance than my step, but that's okay. We figured that they could run 25 steps and see how long it took them to run 25 steps. They might have a family member with a phone that can then record the time and help them count their steps, or they could do it on their own. And very similarly, the option of so 25-step race or 25 push in the wheelchair race. So if an athlete's in a wheelchair, how many pushes forward to get to 25, and how long did that take? Tim, I think we somehow that's that push-up wheelchair race, we've got to adjust that. That should be 3B, not 4. Make sense?
Yeah, okay.
That wasn't, I think that's a recent change. I don't think it was that way yesterday. So
No
sorry,
problem.
folks. We'll send you out this completed, all these forms that we're going to go over with you today. We will send them out to all of you. Each regional staff will send them to you actually on Monday, so that you can begin this right away, if you will, and if we have your consensus today. So so 3A would be a regular 25-step race. 3B for an athlete in a wheelchair could do the 25 pushes race. And then the fourth event is the sit-up. And again, there's different ways to do sit-ups, but we figure any way in which you're tightening your abs and lifting your hands and feet over your torso to get that sit-up position. That's what we're looking for, and how many of our athletes, how many could they do of those. You obviously are not going to have, you want to show them to do the activity, and this is the intent of this is that our athletes going to work on this on their own with your support. And we used to do scrunches with our arms folded in front of us. Some people bring their knees up in the air bent. Whatever way your athletes are doing that activity, we'd want them to record it for 60 seconds. It's how many can they do in 60 seconds. Then the 25-step, the 10, the fifth, sorry. The fifth activity here is a 10-step shuttle run. An athlete makes a mark on a floor, again, on a sidewalk, in driveway, wherever it might be safe, in the backyard. They make a mark, they take 10 steps over, they make another mark. Then the athlete counts how many times they can cross the line, go from one to the other. So back and forth, a shuttle run between the two marks they made. Again, we understand that the distance of your 10 steps is going to be different than mine, and that's okay. We're measuring the number of times we can go across this 10-step shuttle run in 60 seconds. And then the 10 unit, the second thing is the wheelchair shuttle run. Again, an athlete makes a mark on the ground, takes 10 pushes with his wheelchair, makes another mark, and the contest becomes how many times can they go back and forth between those marks, crossing over them in a minute. And please, I'll say it again, speak up, unmute yourself. If you have any questions, we tried to make these as simple as possible to give and as clear as possible, knowing that some of our athletes might do some things differently, but at least it gives them a chance to measure their participation, measure their activity, give them a challenge, give them an activity, a fitness activity that can help them with their fitness and staying active while being at home. And then we also were thinking about our principles where we could try to help them measure their best at one point in time against their measurement of their best at another point in time. And we'll talk about how to do that in just a moment. So the sixth activity is the vertical leap. We had athletes, originally I was thinking basically hold a marker in your hand and get an athlete, make sure they're talking with their family members, that they can find a wall. They reach up as high as they can while standing at the foot of the wall and make a mark. Then they jump as high as they can, make another mark, and then they measure the distance from one point to the other. And they get an inch's worth of point. We had suggestions made in some of our last meetings, which were good ones, like maybe an athlete could simply take a little painter's tape, reach up, stick the tape against the wall, and put another piece of tape in their hand or on their thumb, and then boom, how far can they jump up and pop that other piece of painter's tape? Another suggestion was a Post-it note. Whatever way your athletes can help measure their vertical jump, the vertical leap, in a way that's okay with their family and doesn't hurt their walls, is what we're going for here. The seventh activity is a ball dribble. So we understand that many athletes may not have a basketball. Again, we're encouraging our athletes to do all these events. They can, and then compete or record their score in their top four. But if they do have a ball, we thought maybe they could make a mark on the ground, take the 10 steps away, make another mark, and dribble. How many times can they dribble back and forth? Might not be a basketball, it might be a kickball, any kind of ball that would bounce high enough to dribble it is what we were hoping for. If athletes didn't want to do that, we thought maybe athletes in a wheelchair or even standing, they could throw a ball, practice the two-hand chest pass, throw the ball against the wall, catch the ball coming back either off the bounce or directly catch it. How many times can they make the toss and catch in 60 seconds? Every correct toss and catch is worth the point. The next activity is the Heinie Step. So pretty self-explanatory. You step and bring your your knee up high as you can, and then switch feet, knee up high as fast as you can. We had a coach suggest yesterday maybe that if they had an athlete that was a little more trouble with a balance, that they might hold on to a stair or hold on to put their hand against a wall while they're doing this. That's fine. Whatever way that they can do high knees and record how many they could do in 60 seconds is the object of this. Every time a foot lands, counts as 1 point. A line jump. So what we figured we'd do is have the athletes make a line and then see how many times they could jump from side to side for 60 seconds. The only real rule here is that the intent is to jump over the line, both feet, and land and back and forth, and maybe you don't count if they land on the line. We actually had a coach who'd already tried this and found that some of their athletes did pretty well, but also stepped on the line a few times, and they counted it, they not disqualified. They didn't count it when he landed on the line that he had drawn. It's great. We just want to help our athletes with this. We had another coach who was concerned that athletes may not be able to really jump from side to side, and could they step? And we said, sure, if that's the best they can do, but have them bring both feet over as they get 1 foot, both feet over and touch the ground. There's one, both on the other side too, and as many times as they could go back and forth in 60 seconds. And again, the same line jump, but from front to back. Jump over the line front, jump back, jump over, jump back. How many times in 60 seconds? It's the 10th activity that we're suggesting. And then the stair step. We want this done at the bottom of a set of stairs. It's the safest way. We're basically just, an athlete takes 1 step up, brings the second foot to that one, the first, and then back down. There's 1. Up 1 step, second foot joins it. 1 foot down, the other foot joins it. There's 2. How many times can they go up and down a step? So bring the first foot down to meet the other foot on the floor, and that is 1 completed step. We had people, as I was explaining this before, think that we were asking them to step up a whole flight of stairs, and that's not this. This is just 1 step up and 1 step down. There's 1.
Like a stair step in an exercise class.
There you go. Thank you. So the object is how many steps can they do in 60 seconds? We had people ask, can they hold on to the railing? Sure, absolutely. If that increases safety, whatever way it works is good for us. And then the last is the high plank, right? Athletes arms straight out in a plank position. And how long can they hold that plank position? 60 seconds being the longest. We think that that's a really long time if the plank is being done right. No sagging or bending of the body, and if that sagging and bending starts, then there's the end. That's when the counting stops, right? So it's how many seconds can an athlete hold a full straight plank is the 12th activity. Anybody have any questions before I go back up and talk about the whole program as we see it?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Yes, please.
Okay, my first question is on the high knees. We practice that anyways, but we don't like run in place. We just do up, down, up, down. Is that acceptable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, and my second question is, I have an aerobic stepper. So is that okay for the step up, step down?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We made these so that they could be measurable and credible, but done at home, done safe. We realize there are going to be athletes who are going to struggle with each of these activities, and they're doing them at home, right? And they're on their honor system. We may get an athlete who says he did, 45 push-ups in 60 seconds. I think that's a bit of a stretch. We're going to help them to be as honest as we can and help them to maybe do it right. But that we get what we get, right? We're going to work with our athletes, and we're happy that they're doing the activity. We're going to measure it at the beginning of this season. We're calling it a sports season because we're trying to, we call this the sports season at home. And so, right, we're trying to find a way and sticking with our principles that it's credible, it's measurable. They do their best at the beginning. We ask you for a score, and then we do it near the end, and we do a final. We're going to division them based on the score you give us at the beginning of the season, and then we're going to recognize them for placing in that division. And what we'll do is send everybody, coaches and athletes, T-shirts. And the athletes will all get a recognition certificate, or what we're looking at right now at our medal provider, Midwest Trophy, to try to find a certificate or a ribbon that would recognize everybody. They won't get gold, silver, bronze medals, anything like that, because that's not what this is. But everybody will get a participation recognition, hopefully something special that they'll put in the trophy case that recognize what they did. Fair enough?
Yes. Bill, could I ask a question?
Absolutely, Ellen. Hi.
Hi. I mean, it looks like all of these activities go through a range of abilities. I was just thinking of some of our athletes that might find that 25-step race a little bit less of a challenge. And, you know, some of the guys that are like running crazy distances, is there something we can do to adjust for them that one number 3?
Right. Well, we
You know what I mean?
figured that what you'd want to do with those higher ability athletes is get them to run and jog with their families in any safe way they can and build up their endurance, and that we didn't think that any more than a 25 step that we could measure that safely, or that you could help them measure it safely alone, right? So,
All right.
Ellen, it also had to do with their capacity in space. Some people
Yeah.
are not comfortable leaving their house.
Correct. Oh, trust me, I know. I tried to go to Mary's house. She wouldn't even come to the door. She waved through the blind. Yeah, it's true.
So any more than 25 steps would certainly leave a lot of athletes out of this.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even think of that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're welcome. But we do have a wealth of, and down here there'll be a link on this document that's going to go to the other training material that we have available. And so please send your athletes to that and have them join our Friday workout. Yesterday's workout was the real deal. I was so proud of our staff getting a gentleman who ran a gym in New York City to have them work. I mean, this guy worked them out with bear crawls and basically burpees. It was great. I mean, I had to turn my camera off and try a few things, and I didn't make it 20 minutes. I can tell you that, this fat old guy. So I just, I think that there's a lot of material out there, and we do appreciate that there's people out there like, you know, he's Ben in Long Island, right? He's probably running 5Ks every other day. So,
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
So
He is. He did on social media that he ran the other day.
yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yep. Okay.
Hi, Bill. I'm sorry, Bill.
Yes. Hi, Erica. Go ahead.
Hi. This is great. I think we're the opposite. We're Manhattan, and virtually all of our people live in apartment buildings with people directly below them. I do, you know, all of us do, or not most of us do. And it looks like only like 4 of these exercises are things that my guys can even possibly do. And so I'm just curious, I know as long as they do 4, but is it possible at some point for you guys to come up with some other drills that would work for people who can't bounce basketballs and can't, you know, go through stairs and can't run in the hall?
Sure. I think that, as a matter of fact, if you have any suggestions, please send that on to, if you're in New York City, send it on to Tim, and we can try to find do some research at, you know, how people in apartment buildings are dealing with this, right? Not everybody can do what my sons did, which is move home to upstate New York from Manhattan while this is happening. So we definitely can look at it. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
you're
thank
welcome. You're welcome. So let me. So what we're thinking is that that you would. Let me minimize this so I can read the document better for me. Sorry. There we go. So the eligibility is pretty simple. Athletes need to have a medical consent like they do for everything that we do. And then the incentives that we're going to send a recognition to every coach and every athlete of a t-shirt and some sort of an award, maybe a certificate and an award. We're working on that. Here's the schedule of our season, basically. Monday, the season opens. We'll have all the forms that we're reviewing with you today, or that I'll review with you today. You'll be sent out by your regional staff. We'll give you a few weeks to give us a registration. So we're hoping that you'll use tools like this Ring Central meeting or Zoom meetings, whatever way you want to do it. We have access to Ring Central, and we're glad to share it with you so that you can interact with your athletes much like I'm interacting with you now. We're hoping that you'll do this and meet with them as often as you can. And that will give you 3 weeks to get a registration. So you register the athletes, you introduce all 12 activities to them, but you take the 4 that they like the best or they think they do the best. And that's going to be on the registration form. I'll go through that next. And we're going to use that as their qualifying score. So if athletes are doing push-ups and they say that they can get 5 push-ups, we want you to get that as close as you can to the beginning of this season, which starts Monday. Get that score and submit that so that we can then use that score, and we're going to division them by it. You have until June 12th to get us that information, and then you can continue to work with them on a weekly basis. You can meet with them on Ring Central every day, every other day, once a week. And whatever you'd like. We'd like you to ask for the training competition in this, we're asking that you ask your athletes to do this at least 3 days a week. They can do all 12, but then just send you the scores for their 4 favorites. They can just do the 4. And we gave room, we have a form for them to fill out that has scores every day. They can make it, and they can do 1 in a week and put their scores every day. We'd love it if they did this activity every day, but you as coaches will support them and help them to do what they can do. Fair enough? The registration and tracking. Again, I kind of just talked about it. We're going to send these all out to you. We made them look and be as simple as we could. They should look just like the registration forms for you coaches for our competitions. We just tried to make them as credible and as simple as we could, so that we could measure the athletes' abilities. And before I go too far down, let me review this. So we're asking that we're going to post somewhere right around that June 2nd, we're going to post the divisions that are coming, we're getting from your registration and your qualifying scores. And so the divisions don't really matter, when we post them. What we wanted to do is help you to share with your athletes. If they say they did 4 push-ups and they could do 7 sit-ups and we're going to put them with other people that have similar scores in the division. But it's not, you're just going to train with them as much as you can, or get them to train on their own as much as they can and submit it. And then at the end, June 22nd, we want you to submit for the same 4 activities that you did at the entry here. You're going to submit their scores for the finals. And then we're going to post the results of those on June 30th. So you start training. It can be as soon as Monday. And then you got until June 12th to get us registration and qualifying scores. And then June 22nd, you submit the final scores. And on June 30th, we're going to post the results. And then soon after that, we're going to send everybody a T-shirt to recognize their contributions and an award of some sort, of a recognition award. Those awards will not be, I want to say it again, will not be first, second, third place, right? They're not. Everybody will get a participation award, a recognition for their hard work. Okay? Questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Where will it be posted? Is it going to be on the website? Is it going to go out through an email? How are we going to be able to share this with our athletes?
Absolutely. So the answer to that is yes. We're going to post it on the website, and our staff will be sending them to you so that you can be aware.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to share them with your athletes via email. If you're having trouble and the athletes don't have emails or they don't check their emails, if you'd like, you'll notice on this registration form, we're asking for athletes and coaches emails and addresses so that we can send them awards, but we could also mail out this information to your athletes too, right? You're welcome to meet with them over the phone and handwrite their scores. Any way that we can support you in getting information to and from them, we want to do. But yes, we have up on the website, we will have these scores and results and the divisions. Absolutely.
Bill,
Yes.
can we, could we modify this and have it be a competition between our own athletes?
I would, just like you do for everything else, Coach, you're going to modify it to help get the best performances you can out of your athletes. We're also going to recognize the region that has the most training clubs. We're going to recognize the team that has, as best we can, the most athletes or the most improvement. We'll work with you any way we can. So yes, I would clearly, if I had two athletes that I know are always looking at what the other's doing, I would set up a little competition between them. Right? I would do it that. Yeah. Any way you can do it to get the best and most out of them, we're all for it.
So then what we could really do is if they are achieving whatever they're achieving, we just submit the results. But really, if I make it as a internal training club competition, it feels like it would be more real to my athletes because they would know who they were competing against a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome to hold that. It's almost like you're holding a local competition before the bigger event, right? Where there can, but yes, you can feel free. Do it any way you can. Yeah. And so I talked about the recognition and the T-shirt for everyone, including you guys. We really do appreciate. We know that life is really stressful, and we're all stuck at home and wondering when the world's going to return to something like normal. So we would like to recognize you, and I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes, going, "Oh, the last thing I want is another Special Olympics T-shirt." But we want to find any way we can. We really do appreciate it. If it isn't for you, this doesn't happen. And everything we do, right? We know it. We know who really does the work around here, and we do appreciate it. So we developed this with you in mind. So please send us your information so we can send you something. And so this last bit of writing here on health and safety, you're going to do what you do with your athletes at any time. As you unveil these activities to them, you're going to help them to understand for themselves, where are they going to do this, to look around, do they have the right shoes on, right? You don't want to be doing side steps and in dance shoes or in high heels, right? We want good sneakers. We want warming up and stretching properly. You're going to encourage them to do that, to make sure that they've got a safe area to do this, and to maintain social distancing when doing it, to stop if they're experiencing discomfort or pain, chest pain, anything like that. You're going to help them to be safe while they're doing this. This is the
Bill,
yeah.
Bill, I have one question.
Yes.
I have a question. Somebody live in the residence group
Yes.
home, but they can saw something.
Well, you're going to share this information regardless of where the athlete lives. So you're going to share it with, in this case, you're going to try to get, in some cases, you'll try to get their parents to help, and others you'll try to get their residents to help. There's nothing that says that the entire residents can't help with this, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters where the athlete lives. You're going to work with each one to be able to perform these activities to the best of their ability. And we
Okay,
do.
thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
And if you need us to mail the packet to those group homes, just let us know.
Absolutely. So this is that link that I was telling about, where you could click on and see the videos that we've posted over the last 8 weeks of being at home, different activities for, there's some videos for coaches to do dryland training. There's activities, there's videos on YouTube. So there's a wealth of information here that you can help refer your athletes to if they want to do above and beyond what we're talking about here.
Yeah, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, that figure of the woman with the weight gave me an idea for the group for a for the apartments in New York City.
Yeah.
What about like an arm curl with a 5-pound weight, 30 seconds on the left arm, 30 seconds on the right arm.
Yeah, I think there's a number of activities you could do. I think we're going to leave these 12 to where they are, because we're not it's too late right now to go changing this at sports season at home. But I think if you've got athletes that have the gentleman yesterday in the workout suggested that, or no, I guess he's a football player for the Buffalo Bills. He suggested as he and his family finished a half-gallon ice cream, he saved the plastic container, filled them with water, and those became his 8-pound curl lifts. We'll help you, and you are welcome to encourage your athletes to exercise and stay fit during this time. But right now, these are the 12 events that we have, and I don't think I can change them and not ruin this this situation. Right? We got 6 weeks to do these activities.
Understood.
Thank you, guys. And so the sports season at home, this is the event tracking sheet. So the athletes could write down the 4 events on the left-hand side, the 4 events that they'll do, and then what their score and time or score was for each day. Now, again, they may not do it every day. Our suggestion is they do it at least 3 days a week. You'll work with them to do it as much as you can. I think you'll have the wide range. You'll have athletes that are doing it every day, no problem. And then there'll be athletes that you're going to take scores from that aren't doing nearly as much. And that's, you only have what is influences you have, right? You can only do so much. So that is for the athletes. And I want to show you one more document.
I just have a quick question about the tracking form.
Sure.
Do you have one that has 12 boxes so that the athletes can keep track for maybe the first 2 weeks of all of the different events that they're doing? Because they may not be able to remember, oh, you know what, I did really well with the modified push-up, but with, the shuttle run, I didn't. But they may say, oh, I like running, so I want to do that. Is there another tracking form?
I don't have I do have a tracking form for coaches that has multiple, but no, I don't. But let me work on that, okay? And let me send you one. Maybe we can send it separately from this packet so that it's not confusing to anybody, but we'll send it to anybody who wants to help their athletes record all 12, and we could certainly do that. More information's always better, and so let me work on it, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, please follow up with your regional staff too. I know that we're happy to quickly adapt that thing. You just want to make sure that I guess we did this because we knew that even though the athletes might be doing 12, we wanted to make it clear that we were going to take their 4 and submit that, kind of like at a track meet where you can do 2 running races and a relay sort of thing. Does that make sense? So that's what we were thinking, but we're glad to adapt this if we can to help you, no doubt. And then the registration form, this is the registration form we'll ask you to submit. And for the athletes, it's got a whole, I think we go to a 99 or 100 of them, so let me go back up. So this should look really familiar to all you coaches, right? The events over here listed and what their numbers, the code is for the numbers. Each athlete can go for 4 events, and we're asking for street address and zip so we can email and shirt size for the athletes. And then the 4 events that you're going to record for us. We want you to send this to us early in the season. We gave you until June 12th, but as soon as you can get us the preliminary scores for your athletes, that's great. And once we have them on the 12th, then we'll use what you give us to help create little divisions so that they know they're competing with this many guys that have similar abilities. And I love the idea of you doing more of having an internal competition in your training clubs, right? And getting us, what a great idea. Any way you can do it to get more activity and challenge your athletes, we're excited about that. Let's see, another piece of this, we'd love it if your athletes, with the help of their families or even independently, if they can, to get videos of themselves practicing one or more of these events. We'd love to create a montage as the season goes on of the athletes. We have a 1-page instruction on how to record videos in a way that we can use them in a format, how to submit them to us. And each of the regional staff have them and can give them to you, so just please ask for them.
Just take a look.
Anything, let's see, anything anybody, questions? Trying to stop sharing here. There we go. Now we're back. Questions, thoughts? I think I've said it, but I'll say it once more. We wanted to create some activities the athletes could do at home, that you could share with them and support their efforts to get fit, stay fit until we get back to normal here. We also wanted to create something that had some credibility that goes with our core principles of give us a score, we'll put you against other people of similar ability, you keep getting better, and we'll give you a final result that you can be, can get recognized for your efforts. Is it what we normally do? No, far from it, right? It's I'd much rather be talking to you about our next track meet, right? I hope you would too, right? But this is what we thought. We put our heads together and we thought this is something. The biggest gift and the tool I think we have for you is this virtual this Ring Central meetings. Please take advantage of this. Please reach out to your staff. The meetings that I've been to are so fun to watch as athletes see each other for the first time in weeks and they're saying hi and they're talking over each other and then you say, how you doing? He says, well, I got in a fight with my brother this morning, and it's just fantastic, right? And then over time, as you get to use this tool better, there are ways that you could use it to display these activities with them. There are breakout rooms after you get using it that you could put a coach and 4 athletes in a room and they could work on one of their favorite activities or any way you want to do it. Get them to shoot videos of themselves doing it and share it with the bigger group, hoping that you take advantage of it. It's been by far the most impressive and powerful thing that I think we have to really offer you.
Bill, does this Ring Central have a, you have to be signed up through Special Olympics, or does it have a limit to how long you can be on with them?
No, so we have an account with many lines. So Carol, we give you a line and give you the link, and then you share it with your athletes and they can hop on. I make the meetings typically for 1 hour, but you can go on and on for 2 hours and it won't kick you off.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if you got kicked off.
No, don't get kicked off at all. We've had them go quite a long time, and we can have up to 100 athletes. And if you get more than 100, we have one account that takes up to 500, but don't think you're going to get there. When you get up a little bigger than this, 34, 35 people, it becomes quite a challenge. That's when you'll want to start playing with the sub rooms, the breakout rooms.
So do I ask Ryan for that number?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you could use that number and that link. He can make it repeat, so you can use it as often as you'd like.
So I could do it like every Tuesday at 5:30 is what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're also welcome to do Tuesday and Thursday, just so you know. You do it as much as you'd like, and you let Ryan know, and he'll help you set it up.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Well, let's see, I know that I had, I believe Diane here is going to talk to you a little bit about our athletes and how much they love the victory dance at state games. And so our staff has worked hard to try to come up with an activity we thought the athletes could do. And so Diane, I will turn it over to you, and then don't worry, if you do have more questions, you can ask before we're done. Go ahead. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, Bill. Thank you for inviting me onto your call. So great to see our wonderful coaches. So we're super excited to be putting together a fundraising virtual New York Special Olympics New York Spectacular. Yes, I know it's very exciting. Hold your enthusiasm. We think that this is going to be a great opportunity. It falls kind of like towards the tail end of your season at home games, so that's kind of cool. And we wanted to do something that we knew the athletes would enjoy, something where we can all come together on one of our ring central lines, do a virtual fundraising dance for $25. Anybody who raises $25 or more receives a super cool pair of unified socks created by John's Crazy Socks. And our hopes is that we can get all of our training clubs, all of our athletes out there to participate. They can sign up and join on even if they don't raise the $25 or more, but we are really hoping that everybody tries to do that. Even, maybe you have a company or such that maybe they're doing well right now, and maybe they can sponsor your training club to join us. It's going to be great. It's on June 18th, and we are going to send the information out with the packet that you're receiving from your program team, but the development team will be reaching out to you via email and phone calls, and we're here to help. Kelly, do you have anything to add?
No, the only thing I'd like to add is to thank everybody, and we really want to make Spectacular just a great moment for our athletes and our coaches and our volunteers, just to unify and come together and dance and celebrate. And there's going to be great music. There's a special dance steps that they register, that they will get the secret dance before June 18th, which is pretty big. And then this dance that we're putting out there will now become the official dance of all of our state games. So it's really an opportunity to have fun, but then just to celebrate and be together.
So June 18th, we'll all have our dancing shoes on and get to have some good times with each other. And the region, and there will be just, as Bill mentioned earlier, about highlighting regions that are, maybe have the most people signed up to dance or the top fundraisers. And I think that the region who, gets the most athletes and coaches and family members out there, I think that you can win the opportunity to challenge Bill to lead the dance.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That ought to be entertainment right there.
I think it's well worth watching. So thank you all, and along with your program team, the development team, can't wait to see you guys in person, and we just want you to stay safe and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great idea. Let's see. So all this material will be available on our website on Monday. You'll also be getting it directly from your regional staff. You clearly want the registration form. You want to have that communication with your staff. They're also the ones that can share this with you, the Ring Central information and the links with you. So, but I wanted you to know it's all coming down to you. Thank you for the questions and comments. Anybody else have any more? I don't want to take up too much of your Saturday morning, afternoon.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you again for all you're doing, coaches. Thank you. Can't
Thanks.
thank you enough.